first video. So before we talk about investing, money, business, or financial freedom, I thought I'd take a few minutes to introduce myself and explain why this channel exists. My name is James, and for over 20 years, I've worked in investment banking. I've had the opportunity to work in both the United Kingdom and the United States. I've sat in boardrooms. I've worked on deals. I've met successful entrepreneurs, investors, business owners, and spent a large part of my career surrounded by money. But strangely, my fascination with money didn't begin there. It started much, much earlier. Growing up, I was surrounded by money problems. Not the money itself, but the stress that comes with not having enough. The arguments it can create. The pressure it puts on families. The worry it causes. And from a young age, I became fascinated by understanding it. Not because I dreamed of luxury cars, or designer watches, or becoming rich, but because I realized money creates options, and options create freedom. Which brings me to something I believe in very strongly. Financial freedom isn't really about money. Well, I suppose it is a little bit, but it's more about time. Because money comes and goes. You can lose it, you can earn it back. You can invest it, and you can spend it. But time is different. And once it's gone forever. And financial freedom gives you something incredibly valuable. The ability to spend your time the way you choose. More time with family. More pursuing the things you enjoy. More time doing what matters to you. More time living on your own terms. And after 20 years in investment banking, I was fortunate enough to achieve financial freedom at 38 years old. And while I'm incredibly grateful for that, the thing that I'm grateful more for isn't just money. It's the freedom to choose how I spend my days. The freedom to work on projects I genuinely care about. The freedom to spend more time with the people who matter the most. And perhaps most importantly, the freedom to stop trading so much of my life for money. Because that is what financial freedom really is. Not having the biggest house. Not owning the most expensive car. Not impressing strangers. Simply having more control over your time. spending my time in finance, surrounded by successful people, entrepreneurs, investors, and business owners, I've come to believe that it's the most valuable asset any of us will ever have. Along the way, I've learned lessons that completely changed the direction of my life. Lessons about investing, lessons about wealth, lessons about business, lessons about patience, and lessons about mistakes. And these lessons helped me get to where I am today. And now, I'd like to give something back. Because even one of those lessons, if they help somebody avoid a costly mistake, build confidence, sleep a little easier, or improve their financial future, then this channel will have been worthwhile. So that's why I'm here, to help you. Over the years, I've consumed a huge amount of financial content, books, podcasts, courses, YouTube videos. And while there are some fantastic creators out there, I often found myself frustrated because so much financial content feels disconnected from reality. You'll hear people talk about investments, strategies, business ideas, and theories, but rarely do they show how these things actually play out in real life. Very rarely do they show the journey, the mistakes, the emotions, the setbacks, and the decisions ordinary people make along the way. And that's why I decided to create this channel differently. Because I don't want to just teach concepts. I want to teach real life lessons. And then show you how those lessons might play out in the future. Through realistic scenarios and situations and clients that I've worked with. Not because these stories are entertaining, although I hope they are, but because stories help us remember. It's one thing hearing somebody explain compound interest. It's another thing hearing how a person invested consistently for 10 years and then changed their life. It's one thing hearing somebody talk about side hustles. Another, hearing about someone built one alongside their full-time job and used it to create freedom. Stories make ideas real, and that's exactly what I hoped this channel begins. A place where practical financial education meets realistic storytelling. A place where you can learn something useful without feeling overwhelmed, without feeling pressured, without telling somebody that it looks like And the answer is quite simple. Because most people consume content at the wrong speed. We're constantly scrolling. We're constantly rushing. Constantly trying to absorb more information. Yet some of the most important lessons in life require us to slow down. To think. To reflect. To absorb. And I realized that some of my best ideas came from some of my clearest thinking. And often happened when I was relaxed. Walking, resting, listening, not rushing. So I thought, why not create a place where people can learn about money whilst winding down for the evening? Why not create content that helps people relax whilst also helping them get a little bit smarter financially? Because if you can go to sleep having learned just one useful lesson, one particular idea, or one new way of thinking about money, you wake up slightly ahead of where you was yesterday. And over time, those small improvements compound, just like investing. So what can you expect from the Sleepy Investor? You'll find videos about investing, compound interest, side hustles, business ideas, money psychology, financial freedom, and wealth building habits. But you'll also hear about real world scenarios, case studies, stories about clients I've worked with in the past, and examples designed to show you how these ideas work in practice. Sometimes I'll teach you a lesson first and show you exactly how the lesson plays out through a scenario. Other times, we'll take a deep dive into a story of a previous client and pause along the way to explore financial lessons inside of it. Because understanding it is one thing, applying it is something completely different. And my goal is simple: to help you grow, to help you relax, to help you unwind, to help you learn something useful, and hopefully build a better future along the way. One thing you'll learn quickly about this channel is that there won't be any shouting, no hype, no get rich quick schemes, no rented supercars, no promises of overnight success, just honest conversations, practical lessons, and realistic expectations. Wealth is rarely built overnight. It's built quietly, patiently, through thousands of small decisions, repeated consistently over time. to subscribe and join me on this journey as I take you into a deep dive about my financial past, clients I've worked with, and my 20 years working in investment banking. Because this is only the beginning. There are plenty of lessons to explore, plenty of stories to tell, and hopefully plenty of opportunities for us to become a little wiser together. Thank you so much for spending part of your evening with me. And thank you for being here for the very first chapter of The Sleepy Investor. I genuinely appreciate that. Now, put your phone down. Allow your eyes to close. Take one final slow breath in and slowly breathe out. The markets can wait till tomorrow. The emails can wait till tomorrow. The world will still be here when you wake up. For now, simply rest. And until next time, sleep well. Invest smart.